All right. It's a little sad. This is our last procedures meeting. It's so. It's Friday, guys. Campers come on Monday. Isn't that great? Campers come on Monday. I want to know, is the blue team ready for this? How about the red team? How about that op staff team? Counselors, we are ready for you and your campers. Today, I have subtitled EMS Day. Can you say, oh yeah? Because we're going to talk about all kinds of camp safety stuff. Ooh. Actually, this is a really serious, this is a really serious one. We have to go over stuff that you've got to get. All of you have to get it, okay? We're going to have our nurses come and talk with us in a minute, and we're going to talk about the heavies, as I call them, of safety on the campsite. For those of you who have been in the counselors program strategy, there are 4 P's of a good camp. What is number 1? Did we go over that? We didn't go over philosophy, people, place, program. We did? Do you guys know what philosophy is? Philosophy is why we do what we do. Did we go over that, Joe, in program strategy? Oh, the 4 P's of a good camp? Gotcha. Okay. So, the 4 P's of a good camp. First is philosophy. Say philosophy. Philosophy is why you do what you do. Say it. Philosophy is, and we have a philosophy here at camp. We got the whys of the wilds. And number 2, if you're going to have a good camp, you got to have people. And who are the people? All right, put your hands up and simply go tap the person next to you and go, we are the people. Number one is philosophy. Number 2 is, who are the people? Yes, you are the people that make a good camp. Dr. Hay used to say, Dr. Hay is the founder of the Wilds, used to say, you can have a great camp in a parking lot if you have the right people and the right philosophy. Number 3 is place. Say it with me. No, it's not. It's program. Just wait to see if anyone was going to catch that. No, it's not place. It's program. And what is program? Anything and everything that touches the lives of campers. Anything and touches the lives of campers. All right, that includes clean dishes. That includes the nice paper forms that we do out of the office. That includes nice photos. That includes a counselor who's really nice to them. That includes a tent that's clean. That includes a nice clean building. That includes everything that happens on this campsite. Anything and everything that touches the lives of campers. That's program. And number 4 is, and what's important about the place? Safety. Say it with me. Say it high. Say it low. Say it fast. Say it slow. Say it again. All right. Safety. So four P's of a good camp. First one is philosophy. What's philosophy? Always know what you're doing. Number 2 is people. Who are the people? Number 3 is, what's program? Anything and everything. All right, and number 4 is pizza. No, place. You're going to have a good camp. You do need pizza. Maybe that's 5. I don't know. And what's important about the place? All right, let's talk about safety. All right, it's whose job is it to keep everybody safe? All of us. Tomorrow you're going to hear something very similar. Whose job is it to keep the campsite clean? All of us. No cleanup crews here. We are the cleanup crew, and we are also the safety crew. All right. So if anytime you, op staff, counselor, it makes no difference, you feel like a camper is going to engage in something that is not safe, we need you to step in. Either you need to physically handle it or you need to get some help to stop what's going on, all right? I am seriously counting on your eyes and your ears on this campsite. We live. I don't have to surprise you with this. The culture and the times in which we live in our country, there's just a lot of stuff that happens in our, and we don't believe it will. We don't want to think it will happen, but we have to be prepared if stuff happens. Okay, so let's talk about some of the basics of camp safety. Lightning is a big one that we will deal with. This is definitely. If we hear thunder, and within 10 seconds of a lightning strike. So if you see lightning and you hear thunder, within 10 seconds, you know that we are going to be shutting down all kinds of stuff. So don't be surprised. And if we start notifying everyone to come inside, we need your help to gather everyone. I am one of those teenagers. I should say was. No, I am. I am one of those teenagers who would be running around in a storm. I love being outside in a storm. I love driving in blizzards. It's just exhilarating to me. It's fun. But we can't have our kids doing that. So we need you there's lightning. How are we going to communicate with you? How do we communicate with you? The bell. Say it. Very good. The bell. And so we're going to ring the bell. If we have a big storm, we're going to start ringing it. But normally we ring it like 2 or 3 times to tell you, hey, it's time to come. We're going to keep ringing it. All right, so if you hear the bell ringing, that is a sign to you that something's not right on the campsite. Okay, now we tell the campers that on Monday. You guys most of you have all heard that from me, because I'm like a broken record on Monday nights, okay? But that's how we tell them something's not right. Now, I need you to have a little bit more knowledge than that, because I need you to be the one to engage. Bell's ringing. I got to figure out why that bell is ringing. Is that bell ringing because it's lightning outside while the sun's shining? Probably not lightning, okay? But obviously if it's raining and there's thunder and there's lightning, you'll figure out. We need everybody inside, and that means you guys got to get inside and get all the little chickadees with you inside, okay? And preferably inside something that has an electrical sphere to it, because that means it's grounded, which means you're safer, okay? The worst thing you can do is go hug a tree. I think most of you know that. If you're ever caught out hiking or whatever, the best thing you can do if you're out in an open field is find the lowest spot and crouch down on the balls of your feet, lowest point of contact to the ground, the lowest possible sphere of attraction for those electrons, okay? So the lightning is a thing. Obviously thunderstorms and everything else that go with that. Only one time have we even had a small threat of a tornado. If that ever happened, we would be going down into the meeting hall basement and into the Campbell basement with as many kids as we could possibly get in there. Those would be the safest places. So, any questions on lightning, thunderstorms? Okay, so the bell rings. Yes. You know, I'd rather you be in a tent than nowhere. There is a little bit of grounding there, but not a whole lot. So a tent would be better than being out in the middle. If they're close to the tent, just throw them in there. That would be better. Basically, I don't want you to go hide under a tree. All right. Fires. We have 2 different types of fires that could affect us. We'd have forest fires, and we can have building fires. Forest fire, we're all going to do the same thing regardless. If we have a fire, things we got to do is we got to make sure we got everybody. So we're going to go down to the ball courts. Say that with me. What's going to be your job? Counselor, what's your job? Get your campers around you. Count them out. Make sure you have everybody, because that's where we're going to go to say, do you have everybody? We're going to be looking for you counselors, and if you say, no, I'm missing 2, I'm missing Fred and Roger, that's good. Last known point, we're going to try to find them. But and they could be on the ball court. It's going to be chaos down there. We understand that. We do have a back exit should we ever need to walk out of the campsite on the back way. We can do that. So whether it's a forest fire or a building fire, everybody is going to we're going to ring that bell again. We're just going to ring the bell again, okay, to let everyone know this is what's happening. And once again, if it's not lightning, you're going to say, okay, something's not right. So you're going to have to investigate maybe what's going on, and obviously you'll probably see smoke and those kind of things and figure out we have a fire. So those are the things that we're going to ring the bell for: tornadoes, lightning, fires. We're going to ring that bell, and we are counting on you to figure out what is going on in regards to those things. But now we got to talk about people coming on the campsite, and when we're going to have guests, visitors, whatever you want to call them. We're going to have them in the office. We're going to give them a special wristband, and if I'm not mistaken, those wristbands are white. Anybody want to confirm or deny that? All the people with knowledge left. That's okay. I believe it's white. They were white last year. But if they don't have some kind of wristband from the wilds on them, it's okay for us to ask them questions. Hey, are you visiting with us tonight? Oh yeah, I'm here to social. Have you checked in at the office? Can you say that with me? Have you? Okay, that is the key point. Yes. White, red, and blue. Okay. Oh, they're this one band that's multicolored, red, white, and blue. Okay. Not three different colors, but the band itself will be red, white, and blue. That's right. I remember that now. So very neutral friendly to us here on the campsite. So the key question is, have you checked in at the office? Now, this is where I need you to really pay attention to what's going on with the situation, because you're going to get a read on this person. Are they nervous? Are they agitated? Are they edgy? Are they belligerent? Are they kind of like, or are they like totally lost? Like, oh, I didn't know I needed to check in at the office. Okay. So, but if you're like, I don't know about this person, I'm just getting vibes about this, text me. Text Joe, text me, text Colby. If you can't get a hold of one of us, I want to know about that, okay? And I will want to come around and look and see who's here. But you can be friendly. You don't need to be confrontational. That's not what I want you to do. I don't want you being confrontational. I want you to say, have you checked in at the office? Yes or no. If they say, no, I ain't checking in no office, okay. Well, the service is going to start at 6:45, and so, whatever. And then as soon as you can, you text me. There's something wrong going on here, Steve. What's going on? That makes sense to you? So if you don't see that wristband, then it's okay for you to ask. And so we are really insisting that they wear something, or someone will wear a lanyard with a big guest thing on Wednesday night. They'll wear a big thing that says guest in them. So if in doubt, just text me or whatever. In the evenings at night when you're in bed, it's really tough to know who's walking outside your cabin, right? But if you are certain, beyond a shadow of doubt, that's a guy in the girls' cabin area. I do not want you girls to go confront, okay? You get in, you barricade your door, text me, call me. Better call me in the middle of the night, because I probably won't hear the text. But I usually wake up to my phone ringing because it annoys me so badly. So do call me, and I will come over, and I may even call for backup and all that kind of good stuff. So I think that's okay. What happens if we have a real issue on the campsite? Okay. To be honest with you, we're not really set up to be, we don't have like a wall around the campsite or anything like that. God has allowed us to really not have any issues with outsiders coming into the camp. It's never happened. I'm not saying it never will, but it's never happened. We're thankful. So I don't feel our risk assessment says that we're at a very low risk for this. I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't feel like we have this high risk for people coming in on the campsite. Should we ever have an incident where someone would come with violent intentions, here's how we're going to handle it. We don't have a PA system that we're going to be able to call over and tell everybody what's going on. So 2 ways that we're going to try to get a hold of you. Number one is your phone, okay? So if you're like, something's going on, turn your phones on, counselors, right away. Even in lightning, something like that, that bell's ringing with fires and that stuff, turn your phone on right away. We'll probably be posting stuff to that staff chat. And then um, we're going to have 3 of these, all right, and it sounds like this. Okay, we have 3 of these. One will be right in this room. See the clock? Everyone turn around and see the clock. Say, oh, nice clock. Straight into the back wall there is where Micah Stauffer does the weekly highlight video, and one of these will be sitting on his desk. Whoever can get to it first. Turn that siren on. You go out the front door, set it down so it blares out into the cabin areas, and run. I don't want anybody playing Johnny Rambo here. We don't need more people running towards it. Right now, if it's happening in this building, obviously you're not going to be able to do that. Okay? The reason we don't ring the bell is because that's just an easiest spot for someone who is, oh, I need to go take that person out first, you know, kind of thing. So we have one here. We're going to have one in that little cubby right inside the dining hall, or outside the dining hall, where the guys put their mics and stuff. There's a little tiny cabinet right as you walk into the dining hall on your left, in the meeting house there. And that way, someone can grab this. Once again, you turn it on, set it on the porch, and go. In the Campbell building, walk into the Campbell lobby. There's this nice, beautiful promo thing right there, a little TV and everything right there, a big old. Right underneath there is a cabinet, and one of these will be sitting there, okay? If we get 2 or 3 of these things going, so if you hear this, that means something awfully bad is happening, okay? We don't want you to come here. I don't want anybody coming towards it. I want you going away from it. Even the cabins, I'm not necessarily a fan of cabins, okay? Go out to the woods and hide, okay? And stay there until you hear somebody coming through with a whistle. All right, like a regular lifeguard whistle kind of thing. That's going to be your indication that all is done. So run and hide. That's really what we want you to do. If you hear the siren, run and hide. Does that make sense? Does everybody know what to do? Okay. Obviously, if you're the first one to see this person, if you can, send a text, make a call, whatever you can do to notify those of us in administration. That would be really, really helpful, obviously. So, any questions on that thus far? Yes? It's a really good question. I guess I don't mind. I'd rather have 20 of you calling the police than none of us calling the police. So, yes. Really, really good, fine point. Thank you. What happens if we're in a service? Okay, I hate doing this because I'm not trying to put these awful thoughts in your mind, but just some simple things. What do you do if somebody walks in with violent intentions, with a gun? What do you do? Okay, actually, one of the best things you can do is throw stuff. I love shooting, but I really have a hard time shooting when I'm ducking. Okay, I really do. So what do you throw? Throw your chair? Throw your Bible? Don't throw your campers, probably not. Throw anything you can throw. Pen, it doesn't really matter. If it's coming towards their eyeball, they will move. And you never know what that will do to help the situation. If we can distract him and we get him underneath a pile of chairs, then we do the cowboy thing where we all just jump on top of him. Okay. I'm serious. That's what you do. And if you can if you can pin someone's head to the floor or by their neck, it's amazing. Even the smallest of you can hold somebody down just by their head. All right. So that's what you're thinking. You're trying to get on top of their head. All right. Now, obviously, more the merrier. Okay, but you're trying to really get that neck down and that kind of thing. So, as much as we don't like talking about this, and actually, as you know, it's not like we have an armed force. We're not walking around with armed security or anything like that. Our risk assessment says it's not an issue. So, but we all know what world we live in. So, Not trying to freak anybody out here, but trying to come up with something practical. Obviously, when the police arrive, we are going to let them do their thing. All of us will let them do their thing. Any questions about that? All right. Hopefully that's clear enough for you to know what to do. Making sure I have it. Probably one of the key things that you can do in the reaction to any emergency is stay calm. You'll think better. There are going to be enough people freaking out. The fewer of us doing that, the better. Stay calm. Try to think right. And let's just pray that God doesn't bring any of these kind of things to our campsite this summer. Yes. I'm not going to answer that question. You know why I'm not going to answer that question? Because all of you will be looking at that person. And then the shooter knows, oh, that's the first one I take out. So the answer is unofficially yes. So I just want to answer the question. Kind of unofficially. We don't really have an armed security. So yes. Yes, that would be fine. If no one has started ringing the bell, we have a building fire. Call 911. Sure, call me. Someone start ringing that bell. It doesn't have to be a designated program person at that point. Okay. Where's the bell? Good question. In the dining hall. How do I describe that? Near the corner where the food comes in and out. In between the doors. By the window. There's a bell hanging on the wall right there, and there's a rope. That's the rope. Please don't hold the rope except for emergencies. Don't play with that on the weekends, please. All of our neighbors know when it's time for dinner. So a lot of people will hear you playing around with it, and that thing has broken before, and we don't want to mess with that. So, but in an emergency, yes, pull it. Oh, that made me think of something else. I can't think of it right now. Things leave me. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Otherwise, yes. Yes. Thank you, John. No, don't go around the campsite trying to find your campers. You grab as many campers as you can, whether they're yours or not, and run to the woods. Is that clear? Yeah, that's good. Good clarification there. I also want you to be aware, we don't make the big deal about it, but we do a watch every night during the service. There's a guy assigned to just periodically walk around this building. We're watching for bears, porcupines, skunks, intruders. We're just watching. We're watching the campsite. So I wouldn't call it security, I just call it watching. That's what we do. We watch. Okay? Great. All right, I got that over with. I dread doing that every year. All right, got that part over with. Because now is much more fun for me because I get to introduce you to a very good friend of mine, a very good friend of the Ministry of the Wilds of New England. In fact, she goes all the way back to the very, very, very early days. I just made you sound old. My friends, all the way from the wilds in North Carolina, let's hear it for Jamie Allen. And I have to explain to you why she's here. She has come. She is a nurse. She was a nurse in the early days here, as well as kind of Rand's right-hand brain of what in the world's going on with all the female staff and all of that. She just took care of 1,000 details in the operational world, and she found herself a husband here at the Wilds of New England.
It can happen.
It can happen. And maybe sometime she'll tell you the story about how her beloved He's on full-time staff now at the Wilds down there. They met here, and she still is our nurse liaison. That's what we call her. We have a corporate head nurse, which is Hannah Stoner, but she works with Hannah, and then she kind of helps get all of our nurses' information and things all squared away here on the campsite, and she comes and gives us about a week to make sure our nurses are all squared away, ready to go, because the state of New Hampshire requires a lot from us. There are a lot of details going on in that nurse's office over there. So without any further ado, Jamie has just driven in from
Pennsylvania this morning.
North
Carolina yesterday.
And she doesn't really know where she is. So if you need a fireball that would be interesting to watch you eat a fireball while you're speaking.
No, but I'm going to take one for after.
Hey,
thanks.
And you brought your children with you.
I did. I brought my children with me. Right. So I'm going to have everybody turn around. We've got Brooklyn over here. She's 12.
Hi, Brooklyn.
Kanan is in the black shirt.
Hey,
Kanan, wave. Kanan, like the promised land. He is 11 yesterday. No, 2 days ago. 2 days ago. And then Oliver is 9. So they are actually all of the age to be junior campers. So they are going to be campers here next week, and I'm super, super, super excited about that. They've been campers down at JBC in North Carolina, and now they get to experience another camp that I absolutely love. So as you said, my name is Jamie. I just came on. I wish I could be here for most of staff training week, but it's just not possible. I'm kind of heading up the JBC down there, which is our junior boot camp. Here you guys have junior camp and teen camp separately. We actually run them both simultaneously for 9 weeks and 10 weeks for teen camp. So I have to kind of get them started down there and then come up and get the nurses squared away. So that's why you haven't seen me. But I will be here for week 1. I would love to get to know you. I would love to meet you. I can't promise you that I'll remember all of your names, so please be patient with me. But please come up and introduce yourself. I would love to get to know you. So, all right. As Steve said, I have been here for a very long time. I started with North Carolina in 2001, and then started here. We did a couple trial weeks in 7 and 8. I did those, and then when we started here in the Deering Center in 2009, I was here for the first 4 summers, and that's where I met my husband. So he is the director of finance, so I believe you still get emails from him. I think he's the one that emails all of you for your paychecks. So Trevor doesn't ever have to. He doesn't even have to work for people to like him. Everybody just loves him. So, but he will be up here on Wednesday, and he'll be here through Wednesday through Saturday with me. So, all right. Without any more delay, let's go to page 77 in your handbook. And while everybody's getting your handbook out, get your phone out too. Everybody get your phone out, because I'm going to have you put in our nurse and assistant's names and numbers, because I want everybody to have that. So I'm going to have Sarah call out her name and number when everybody kind of give me an indication of whether are your phones ready. Are you guys ready? Okay, Sarah, go ahead. Tell them your name and number. Right? Y'all need to get faster at typing. Just kidding. All right, does anybody need her to repeat that? Everybody got it? All right, Anna. Anna, tell them your name and number. All right, everybody got that? Awesome. Awesome. Okay, when you're done with that, put your phones away and get your book out, page 77. Health service procedures. So the first thing, weekdays, the nurse doesn't have any set hours, okay? So we will be in the nurse's station around meal times. and right before bedtime, because those are the typical times to get medication, and we'll go over that in a minute. But we don't technically have any hours. But a lot of times they are in there doing paperwork. So feel free to knock on the window, go on the porch and knock on the window. If they're there, they'll answer. If not, there should be a sign that says exactly where you can find them. And if for some reason neither of those things are the case, go to the office. If it's an emergency and you really need help, go to the office. The office actually has first aid kit. They'll have some Band-Aids and stuff like that. So if it's just a Band-Aid, and the nurse is not there, just go ask at the office. And if it's something more, they'll give us a call, okay? So you will always be able to find one of us in some way. Weekends, if you have an emergency on the weekend, contact a full-time staff member. So Joe, Steve, Cassie, I think you guys probably already have all their numbers by now, or at least one of their numbers by now. So if you have an emergency, please make sure that Joe or Steve or Cassie is brought in on that. If a nurse is needed, they will contact the nurse and they'll bring them in. But we just want to care for you guys too on the weekend, so make sure that you let one of the full-time staff know. We don't need to talk about medical forms except for the very bottom. We don't technically have slips here. That's more of a North Carolina term. The one thing I want to point out in letter C is that the very last statement is counselors may not excuse campers from games, okay? We are doing our very best to build relationships with the campers, not build walls. So we're not gonna push to the point of building a wall. But we also, a lot of these kids don't get out. They don't do things. They just sit on their couch, watch TV, do video games. So we want to see if we can push them a little bit. But that is, I want you to try to push them a little bit first. But again, we don't want to build a wall either. So if you feel like, wow, they're just really resistant, bring them to the nurse. We'll try to push them. If they're still resistant, then we can give them the permission to miss the game, to sit on the hill. So you don't have that permission to allow them to miss a game, but know that we're not going to be building walls. That's not our purpose, okay? All right, arrival day procedures. The first statement always makes me chuckle a little bit. Assess the physical condition of your camper and report any known illnesses. We are not expecting you to do an assessment on the campers, but you can look at him and say, oh, wow, he has a boot. He's got a broken foot. Maybe I should find the nurse. Maybe that happened over the weekend, and the nurse doesn't know that yet. So a lot of pre-existing conditions the nurses already know about, and if it's something that will affect how you care for that camper, we will have talked to you already or make it a point to pull you aside during check-in to talk to you on that. So that's what that assess means. Just kind of look at them. Okay. And so anyway, and it'll be obvious if they have any issues. And they're always really, really eager to share their conditions with you anyway, most of the time. So if they have something that they're concerned about, they'll most likely open up to you right away. Let me see. Let's turn the page. Number 2, bring your camper and his medications to the nurses during check-in. The way we do it, most of the campers will have already seen us, but a lot of them won't have their medications. So they'll come to us at the nurse's station and they'll say, I have medications, but it's in my suitcase. So when they meet you, what I want you to do is say, hey, do you have any medications? Awesome. When we get your stuff in your cabin, we'll grab those and bring them back to the nurse. Okay? So just make sure you ask every camper, do you have any medications? Because sometimes campers will bring medications, especially junior weeks. We don't let the juniors really keep hardly anything. So sometimes the campers will say, well, all I have is Claritin, so I'm not even going to tell the nurses I have that. We technically have a responsibility to know what's on the campsite. So even if we decide to let the camper keep it, we still need to know that it's here. Does that make sense? So just ask everybody, and if they do, bring them by the nurse's station, or nurse's table, which is usually right where the camera is during check-in, or near there anyway. Okay, moving on. Camper observation follow-up procedures. Number 1, reserve a bottom bunk for campers with seizure disorders. If your camper has a seizure disorder, we will most likely already know that, and we will most likely have already talked to you. If we know it, we're going to have already talked to you. There are some campers that just don't put anything on their registration form, and we have been blindsided by some things. But if they, in the course of you putting them in their cabin, and they say, oh, well, I need a bottom bunk, I have a seizure, does the nurses know? Great, awesome, most likely yes, okay. If they say no, then bring them to us, okay? Because we need to know that. The other thing is top bunks are not usually advised for bedwetters. We call them midnight sailors. I want to point out right now is your job is to protect these campers, okay? So please, 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 if there are a lot of different reasons why someone might still struggle at night. There are health issues, there are anxiety issues, there's a lot of different reasons why someone, and we are seeing it older and older. Teenagers are dealing with it too, guys and girls. So please, 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 I want to point out your job is to protect these campers. If they say something to you about it, obviously if they don't say anything to you about it, you don't know. But if they say something to you about it, have them be on a bottom bunk. And if something happens during the week, it is your responsibility to make sure that no one else knows, okay? No, you protect that camper. We do have changes of sheets, extra bedding for cases such as these. They are so you know where the meeting house is? Directly across from the nurse's station door. There's the doors right next to the vending machines. You go down in there, right to your left are bins that are kind of like midnight sailor kits of sorts. So if it happens, I want you to just get all their clothes, their bedding, put it in a trash bag, and then go get one of those and remake their bed. And no one should be the wiser. If it happens in the middle of the night, great. Most of the kids are going to sleep right through it. If you notice it in the morning, then get all your campers out, send them to whatever spot you send them to work on their verses, and then take care of it, okay? Are we good with that? All right. Also, if a kid said, oh, yep, go ahead. There is usually some spray also down there. So if you go in, also to the left, Cassie? Nope. No. Yep. Green. Okay, green. Yes, Sarah. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right.
So I'm also very happy if we get a wet bed. I will come take care of the wet bed.
Okay.
Just don't set it outside and tell me exactly which one it is, and if I need to swap it, I'll do that kind of thing.
Yep. Nurses are also available too. Like if it's just like a crazy morning and you're trying to get out and you don't have a chance to take care of it, it's all of our jobs to protect these campers. You're the main line, you're the front line, but it's all of us. So if you need help, please reach out for sure. If they happen to say, hey, I move around a lot, maybe you should put them on the bottom bunk. Just use your logic, okay? Number 2, the second sentence, make sure all campers are eating right and drinking plenty of fluids, especially on really hot days. I know it's New England and it's more of a dry heat usually, but you guys get some really, really, really hot days. I remember that. And so what I have said from day one is lunch and dinner, pour everyone water. Everyone gets water first. Everybody has to drink a glass of water, and then they can have whatever other drink is on the table, okay? That goes for staff too. We can't police you, but please let me tell you, a lot of health issues are taken care of by being well hydrated. It is amazing. Your body is meant to be hydrated, and it's amazing how much can break down if you're dehydrated. So drink water, drink. Okay. Report any illnesses, injury, rash, fever, anything like that. I think you would logically do that anyway, but if your camper complains of anything, if you notice anything, bring them to the nurses. Ensure that the campers adhere to their medication schedules or special diets. The special diets, have we talked about that, or do I talk? Like somebody else talk about that? Dining hall? Perfect. I don't even have to worry about that. Awesome. So those of you that get campers with special diets, they will let you know. And we as nurses could also let you know as well. And you guys have already talked about that. Medication schedules. We are going to be giving out medication before every meal and after the final thing at night. So whether that's a service or a game or fun time, whatever is the final activity for the night, that's when we give the bedtime meds. So you just go to that health service building or nurse's station porch, and send your campers there. If your campers don't come, we will be calling you, and we will be sending the program guys to come get you to bring your camper, because we do our absolute best to make sure that these campers take it, because their parents are entrusting them to us. And even when it's a simple medication, their parents feel so much more at ease, like we've taken care of them, if all of their medications are taken each day. Okay? So we'll be chasing after you. Let's see. Then on Saturday morning, make sure they pick up their medications before they leave. It's kind of here, because we're so centrally located, I usually just track them down and I give them to them. But you could even ask, if you're saying goodbye, hey, you could just Tommy, make sure you go get your medications. Have you gotten them yet? Okay, let's go get them before they leave. And so to make sure that, because medication can be very expensive, so we want to make sure they take it home. All right. It says routinely check your campers for ticks. What we mean by that is just if you notice something, maybe after you do laser tag, when you go up there, they're walking through the apple orchard, you can get a lot of bugs and ticks and blah. So make sure that you can even tell your kids, just kind of run your hands through your hair. Make sure that there's no, don't freak them out, but just if you see a tick, do not take it off yourself. Don't let your camper take it off. Now, a lot of times the camper will come and say, hey, I had this on me. Okay, then bring the camper and the tick to the health service building. We will assess the site, make sure that everything came out as it should have come out. We will put that tick in a baggie, and we will actually send that home with the camper because of the high prevalence of Lyme's disease here. So that way the parents have it in case they want to check it and see if that tick actually carried. It just gives them more information to work with. So you do not pull the tick off.
Can I just?
Yep.
You're talking about if it's made an incision in them, if it's walking around.
Oh yes,
their arm,
I'm sorry. If it is attached.
Take it off.
Yes. If they come and say this was on me, okay, did you pull it off? Was it stuck and you pulled it off? Yes. Okay. Let's go see the nurse. Okay. So if at all possible, don't let them pull it off if you see it, and you don't pull it off, because we've got to make sure that there's little mouth parts that get stuck in the skin if you don't pull it off correctly. Okay? Any questions on that? I know, everybody's touching. Everybody's I tell you what. All right. Also with that, since we're talking about little bugs, there are times, it does not happen all the time. Every year even, but there are times where campers will come and one of the campers will have lice. So again, that is another situation where it is your job to protect that camper, okay? So if it happens, you don't make a big deal about it. One of the ways that you can prevent it from spreading is don't let your campers share hairbrushes, combs, pillows, anything like that. But if you happen to say, I think that might be something, just bring them to the nurse quietly. Please, please, please protect those campers. And then we'll take it from there, and we'll tell you how we need to proceed depending on whether it is a true case or not, okay? Make sure your campers wear appropriate clothing and shoes for all activities, including staff. Please, you're not supposed to go barefoot on the campsite, because we have no control over what washes through, and you don't know what campers drop from time to time. You're just going to protect your feet. No barefoot. Let's just say that. If it's going to be a really active game, do your absolute best to make sure they have shoes on, not just flip-flops. Okay. Nighttime emergencies. If this happens, they come. They don't get as much sleep as they normally get. They're not drinking as much water as they normally drink. They're eating way more sugar, and they'll get sick to their stomach, especially juniors. So you may or may not have a nighttime emergency where your camper throws up in the middle of the night. If that's the case, you will come get the nurses, okay? The nurses will clean that up for you. You don't have to worry about that. Yeah, that's the biggest thing for that. Make sure you come get the nurses. If it happens, anytime it happens, the nurses will clean it up, and day or night, okay? Any questions about that? Awesome. Let's see. Oh, and if it seems like it's going to take a long time, like the camper really doesn't feel good, and you're bringing the camper with you because they feel super hot and they have 102 fever, you might want to contact one of the counselors next to you and just say, hey, can you just kind of watch my cabin too? If everybody's sleeping, I wouldn't worry about too much. We're pretty close. But if it's like bedtime and everybody's crazy, have one of the other counselors help your cabin get to bed. Okay? First aid procedures. Again, the nurse consult the nurses about any questions that you have. We will talk to you. If you have a camper with asthma or diabetes or seizures or anything like that, we will talk to you. We will give you all the information that you need to successfully get through your week and successfully care for that camper. So please don't freak out if you see, if your camper tells you something. If it's one of us, like I've already said, if it gets through and they didn't put it on their registration form, just bring the camper to us and we will instruct. Medical supplies on page 79. Most common medicines and first aid supplies are available in the office as well as the HSB. If we give you a sling or a wrist guard, not ace bandages, I don't want the ace bandages back, they nasty, okay? Don't want those back. But if we give you an actual brace or some sort of medical supply from the health service building, you or your camper, it needs to be returned Saturday morning. Now, if this is an ongoing thing for you over the weekend, you can talk to Sarah and Anna, and they'll, just as long as we know where it is and we get it back, but please make sure you take care of it, okay? We want to steward the things that God has given us. Letter F, Monday morning procedures. If you believe you are too sick to counsel, you need to see the nurse by 10 a.m. This is really important, especially as the summer goes on. You will get more tired, your body will get more tired, you will get more susceptible to sicknesses, and you will feel worse. So please make sure if you feel sick over the weekend, you've got to contact the nurses by 10 o'clock, okay, if you feel like you are too sick. You are not allowed to remove yourself from your responsibilities. You're just not allowed to do it, okay? Because if you sleep in and you don't tell anybody, and then all of a sudden your job's not getting done and everybody's scrambling to cover it. So just tell the nurses. We are going to lovingly encourage where we can lovingly encourage, and we will also take care of you. And so don't think like if I go tell the nurses, they're not going to let me out. That's not true. We love you guys and we want to take care of you. So just please come tell us. The nurse will make that decision whether you can counsel, whether you can perform your responsibilities, your job responsibilities, and then they will communicate with the office and with program or whoever needs to know, and we will get your responsibilities for that week covered. Okay? Any questions about that? All right. Counseling, op staff, you cannot remove yourself. Got it? Make sure that's the nurse's decision. If you go to Joe and say, I just feel awful, I don't think I can do my job, he's going to look at you and say, have you seen the nurse? So just save him the breath and come see the nurse first, okay? All doctor's appointments, whether they are like an urgent care thing, like you got injured, or a routine doctor's appointment, or I'm sick, I've got this cold, I've got a sinus infection, I need to go see someone to get medicine, all that goes through the nurses as well. Because again, we've got to make sure that your responsibilities are covered while you're not on the campsite, okay? Staff responsibilities. If any of you guys have medications, if you could just check those in with the nurses. We just, again, need to know what's on the campsite. Op staff, I don't want to say 100% statements because sometimes that's not true, but you will most likely be able to keep your medications. Counseling staff, you will also most likely be able to keep your medications depending on what it is. It just has to be in a secure location. I don't want to be chasing you down for your medications, so I'm going to want you to keep them if you can, okay? But we got to know what you have. And to that end, your medical information is safe with us. We don't talk about it with other people, okay? Whatever condition you have or medication you are taking, please do not fear that it's going to be talked about. Sarah and Anna are the only two on the campsite that will know certain things, okay? So we will not talk to anyone that does not need to know. Okay? Makes sense? And especially your health information. That's private, and I want you to know that you can trust us. Okay? Moving on, page 80. We already went over any work-related injury must be reported to the nurses immediately. Okay? If it is happening while you are doing your responsibilities, what you were asked to do, it's a case-by-case basis. A lot of times, we'll send you into urgent care and tell you, please don't say workman's comp, because it's cheaper to just pay out of pocket. So we will instruct you in that. But if you get injured doing your work responsibilities, you have to tell the nurse immediately. You can't say, oh, well, I was out weed whacking and I stepped in a hole and I rolled my ankle 3 weeks ago. Okay, no, do it right away, okay? If any injury is sustained during a staff member's free time, during the weekends, or you have any pre-existing conditions, that's going to be on personal insurance, okay? So counseling, I will say this, again, case-by-case basis, but counselors, your job is to be with your campers. So don't say, oh, I can't play basketball because I don't want to get hurt because I don't get insurance, and I'm going to tell my camper no. Like, that is what we are asking you to do, okay? That is your job. So your job is to be with your campers, but free time activities for op staff, that's play at your own risk. And then letter E, all staff must adhere to OSHA standards regarding any exposure to blood or body fluids. You guys are really not going to deal with most of that. The nurses are going to deal with that. Program might deal with some of that. You guys aren't going to really deal with that. But I wanted to point out number 2, universal precautions consider all blood and body fluids. What do I mean by body fluid? Snot, tears, urine, any body fluids is considered contaminated. So if you have to touch anything, put gloves on. We have most sites, I think, have latex gloves. If you have a latex allergy, we do have some nitrile gloves, so please let us know if you can't use the latex gloves doing your cleaning or whatever it is that you're doing. And number 3, hand washing. Hand washing is the most effective way to stop the spread of any contamination, dirt, or diseases. Hand washing. So if in doubt, wash your hands. If your hands are visibly soiled, wash them, soap and water. It is a wonderful thing, okay? And let's see. I think that's pretty much it. I'm just going to read that statement at the bottom. We have the privilege of serving others this summer. With that privilege comes responsibility. So while meeting the needs of others, remember that your responsibility is to adhere to these precautions and not to jeopardize the safety of yourself and your campers. Okay. Do you guys have any questions for me on the nursing side of things? All right. Awesome. Like I said, please come up. Oh, sorry. Wow. Yes, go ahead. Prescription medications. I'm sorry that I didn't specify that. Prescription medications. If you have medicine, like if you have a cold and you are getting medicine from the nurse's station, we will give you enough to get through the week, and then we will ask you to get some of your own on the weekend, if at all possible, if this lasts for longer than 2 or 3 weeks, okay? So we will take care of you, and we have you have access to a lot of over-the-counter medications, and you can keep those in your cabins, in your workplaces, wherever. They just have to be in a secure location because we want to avoid the possibility of campers finding them, okay? Because it is amazing. There are campers there. I mean, we have a camper in JBC comes every year. He is allergic to ibuprofen. That's a pretty common one, okay? So it's amazing what campers can be allergic to. Yeah. Is it truly Sudafed or is it a phenylephrine? Like, did they... Okay, all right. So Sudafed, they usually will cap how much you can buy, and yeah, it's usually you have to get the pharmacist to unlock it. So just bring it by, and we'll look at it. Yeah. Are you counseling or are you off staff? Yeah. Yeah. Come talk to us. Yes, Sarah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Really good point. Anybody else? Any other questions? Awesome. Oh, what? Go ahead. Yeah. be honest, I'd prefer that if we got it. I mean, if you take them off all the time, are you on landscape? Is that what you're asking? Okay. If you take them off all the time, then I mean you're an adult. Go ahead, take it off. But maybe save it, because what's that? If it's a bite. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you know how to safely take them off, I'm going to trust you as an adult to be able to safely take it off. But keep it in case, like if you start getting that bullseye rash, then we're going to say you probably should go in and be seen, and they might ask, do you still have the tick? Can we test the tick? So just bless your heart, you might have your whole little collection of baggies of ticks. Yeah. Guys, common sense is the name of the game. Common sense and stay hydrated, please.
All right, let's hear it for Jamie. Yeah. And thus concludes procedures. Now we can go into overtime if you'd like. We can go back and start at the beginning again. No, just kidding. How about we take a break and come back for choir in 14 minutes? You're out of here.